You are now tuned in to this week's episode on TOGCast. It is our mission to bring you guest speakers sharing their latest and greatest tips, skills, stories and know-hows within their market. Let's get going.
Welcome to today's podcast. I'm Leanne and today I'm joined by two special guests from the One Group, Andy Clark, and in front of the camera for the first time, producer Bex. Hi guys, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having us.
Today's topic is all about degree apprenticeships. So let's get cracking. Tell me about degree apprenticeships. How do they work?
So degree apprenticeships, they're an opportunity to work in a full-time job and study a qualification alongside, whether that's a degree or something more specific, maybe within the career someone's already within. Part of that is the apprenticeship levy. So a lot of large employers already do pay into this apprenticeship levy. So if they bill over 3 million, I believe it is a year, they then automatically get funding for training. For those who are smaller businesses and their bill pay is under 3 million, they still get to be a part of the apprenticeship training, but it's just slightly different for them. So the large businesses help fund that for them, and then they pay a different percentage compared to the large businesses. But degree apprenticeships are for all. They're open to everyone. It's not just school leavers or graduates after, say, if they want to go on to do a master's. It can literally be for anyone. If someone's looking for a career change or a different opportunity or want to further their education within what they're currently doing in their job, anyone can do it.
So no age limit?
No age limit.
Oh, wow,
yeah,
okay.
I think that's one of the common misconceptions is that
Yeah.
you've got to have just finished school, which potentially previously a lot of that was the sort of natural progression route. But certainly on our course, me and Bex were the two youngest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
there's a lot
The
of
babies of the
The
group.
babies.
We were, yeah. We'd had people who'd been in their working life for 30, 40 years and fancied doing a qualification, doing something a little bit different. So yeah, no age limit. I think it's minimum of 16. But if you're over the age of 16, it's never too old to get involved.
Yeah.
So what would you say the benefits are to doing a degree apprenticeship then?
So I guess from an apprentice perspective, it's about learning skills that are directly relevant to the career you want to go down. And even if you don't really know exactly what that career is, there's still lots of apprenticeships out there that could help guide you no matter what career journey you then choose.
Mm-hmm.
You're still going to gain those relevant skills for any job that you go into. And plus you're paid a salary.
Nice.
And the qualification is free. So you end up with no debt. And you're in a full-time job, you're gaining your career skills and then your education skills as well. And from an employer perspective, for them, I suppose we say we're born and bred toggers, don't we? So basically as an employer, you can mould that apprentice to be whatever you want. You can make sure they learn the skills that you need. And then they obviously bring in fresh ideas from what they've been learning. And yeah, it's just another way to bring new skills into the workplace, but also it being moulded to what exactly you want from them as a business.
So it sounds like it's kind of the same as going to university from the degree point of view.
Yes.
You're still getting everything that you would get if you were to go to university,
Yeah.
qualifications wise, but the bonus is at the same time you're in the industry, you're learning, and you're earning.
Yes.
So then when you actually graduate, you're already in the career.
Yeah,
Absolutely. On that piece of paper, you've still got the exact same degree as everybody else, but you've actually also got 4 years worth of commercial experience and no debt. So when I compare
that's a big thing.
when I compare sort of my position in comparison to my friends, we've both got the exact same qualification, but they're now struggling to get a job because they don't have the commercial experience.
Yeah.
And I mean, as a recruiter personally, a lot of the roles I recruit for, they're more interested about the commercial experience. They're not as bothered about what is on the piece of paper. So being able to actually get both without having any debt is a huge benefit.
So you've got the best of both worlds, basically.
Pretty much.
And it takes the same time. So was it a 4-year degree?
Yeah.
So yeah, the way we did it was instead of it being a 3-year course, we did a 4-year course. So yeah, you still do the same modules. It's just spread out. So we studied 1 day a week instead of full time. So yeah, it does take an extra year, but it's actually a bit more manageable. Spreading everything out obviously comes with its challenges, fitting it in alongside work. But yeah, I think it's a fantastic thing to be able to have the commercial experience as well as the the certificate.
Definitely, because you've both been progressing within your careers whilst also having the apprenticeship, and you've been promoted as well within that 4 years. And that's someone at university wouldn't actually have had that. And like you say, people would then graduate and have to start from the bottom, whereas you started at the bottom and already worked your way up in those 4 years.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds like a no-brainer.
It is the best, like you said, the best of both worlds, being able to work and study at the same time. A lot of my friends, they always say that they wish they did what I did now that they've seen the position that I'm in. They all say they really wish they did.
I think that's the thing at the moment. Like, degree apprenticeship is still just so unknown, like by businesses and students. Like, I remember when even I was first looking, I didn't really know that it existed. Knew I didn't really want to go to just university because I wanted to get into work, earn some money. And then luckily I just spoke to someone one day who knew about them and guided me through that. And then I was like, oh my God, like, this is amazing. Like, why isn't this promoted in schools and, you know, when you come out of education? And I think people as well, obviously back in the day apprenticeships, they were like, you know, you go to be an engineer or you're quite mechanical. Or,
they were always very hands-on.
Apprenticeships.
It's not
whereas
always
nowadays, it's not. And every year more and more degrees are getting released as apprenticeships as well. It's just going to keep growing. So everyone, I think, just needs to know about them.
So what's actually involved then from your perspective? What did you have to do? You said you worked 4 days a week and then 1 day a week was study.
So in terms of the actual application process, it was the same as applying to any other job, really. We submitted our CVs, spoke to Georgie, our talent sort of professional over here, had the interviews, and then from there we were obviously selected, which was very nice. And then we started working, started the degree. So we'd travel down to the campus, university campus, sort of 4 times a year, so once a quarter. Just so we could all meet up and sort of speak to the tutors. It's easy to ask any questions face to face, have a bit more sort of learning face to face. But the beauty of the degree apprenticeship, and certainly our course, was that a lot of it was remote. So we didn't have to travel every single week, for example. A lot of it was all online. You followed a set structure, and you worked through the program that was sort of released to you.
So that's really nice then, that there is actually a cohort. So if you were a degree apprentice on your own within the company, I mean, you guys were lucky to have each other, but if you were on your own, then at least you know that there are these other people going through the same processes as you at that same time.
And what was quite nice about it as well, because I had this question a lot when I used to talk to people about the apprenticeship, was how do you though not get that like in classroom interaction from that tutor and also from your peers? But actually it was quite nice because every week you had like an online task to do, so you could talk with the other students on it as well, share your ideas and thoughts on the topic. And it was quite nice as well because I don't know about you, but you got to see how it was implemented in other businesses and not just our own. So it was really interesting to see actually, you know, how this business would do it and how that business would do it, but how we're all learning about the same thing, but how they would implement it differently. And again, I guess that adds to the skills and experience of we have that knowledge for future, whether it be in own company or in future careers. It's very transferable.
We learned about different challenges that other organisations are having. Sometimes we were actually able to say, well, we do this, and they were able to take that away to their company and vice versa. We were learning from each other in terms of the actual practical side of things in the workplace, but then also in terms of the theory, we were able to help each other out. And I guess expanding on that again, that's the nice thing about an apprenticeship. Whereas I feel probably if you're just at university as a full-time student, you can't take what you've learned and implement it practically. Whereas we could go off straight away and put this into our jobs.
You'd have to wait
into the company
until you graduate, and then we'd try and remember what it
was.
What was that again? It was something I wanted to implement.
But all of our assignments were based on our actual work, or workplace as a company as a whole. So everything that we were doing, some of them include sort of like financial forecasting. So instead of just being theoretical, we could actually go and work with our finance director and say, look, we need to learn a bit more about financial forecasting, help us out. And we were able to then learn a bit more about our own business as well. I wouldn't normally go and work with Dunk, for example, but for this course we spent a couple of days with him. He told us everything we needed to know about Excel and how he predicts our companyes, how he predicts the revenue. We were able to then sort of take what we'd learned, but then actually use it in our own business, which is actually really interesting as well.
Yeah, that does sound good.
And I think what was quite nice, I guess, focusing a bit more on the job element. So how the one group chose to do it, as an example, was we were brought in and then we were allowed within our 6-month probation period to actually go around, like, so for here it's different divisions, to kind of get to know all parts of the business anyway, like as a career, and then decide where you want to go from there as
so
well.
They gave you a little bit of ownership.
So that was quite nice as well, I think, to add on top. Actually, it wasn't just you're doing this job with this degree. It was, what would you kind of like to do?
Where would
what
you
takes
fit?
your interest? And then let's help us implement that into
I love that approach. Yeah,
really
that's a really nice
nice
approach. So we've talked about the benefits then of the degree apprenticeship, but what made you actually want to apply?
So I think we're fairly similar in that neither of us actually knew what we wanted to do. So
Who does?
We left college, and then it was a bit like, well, what's next? All of our friends, or most of our friends, went to university. That was sort of the route that the colleges push you down. It's seemed that is always the route that they want you to take when it's not actually for everyone. So I was lucky that I was able to take a couple of years out, sort of evaluate what I actually wanted. Was still unsure, and then started looking for degree apprenticeships, thinking that it's a good way of getting commercial experience whilst also getting the degree at the same time. So that was the biggest draw for me, was being able to earn and learn, as they say.
Exactly the same there. And that's the thing, I guess, like we mentioned colleges pushing university. Mine was the exact same experience. Like the schools just want you to go that route, and like you say, it isn't for everyone. And like, again, I just don't think everyone understands there's many other opportunities and directions you can go down. So I've actually felt very lucky that I did find that, because no clue where I'd be now. And especially just having no idea about what you want to do, like as a job, whereas this direction has actually curved me to then find my love for marketing in a job now I love. But also then I've got those skills from my management degree that I could carry over into any career, you know, if it was to ever change or anything. I hope not, because I love marketing. But like you say, so even if the career you did in the apprenticeship isn't quite for you, that's okay, because you've gained that commercial skill, you've gained the education side of it, and you can take that anywhere with you.
And I think if you don't know what you are wanting to do, if you have a look at the apprenticeships out there, there's so many different ones. As you said, a lot of them are hands-on, sort of physical roles, for example, but there's not. We did a business management degree in a recruitment company. I didn't even know what recruitment was 5 years ago. I didn't know that was a thing. So it certainly will help broaden your horizons to what else is out there. And then from there you might actually find something that you really enjoy, like we have. We weren't sure this was an actual career sort of 5 years ago, and then since finding out about the degree apprenticeship, about the one group, we've both been able to forge a career here, which has been very good. But also, if you do know what you want to do but not 100% sure at university, there's probably an apprenticeship for it. So have a look, see which ones are available near you, and certainly give them a consideration.
So that's actually a good point. So if you don't want to go to university and take the plunge on that certain career that you think you might like, if you did a degree apprenticeship and you didn't have to pay for it, then if you didn't like it after a year or so and then you left, you still don't have to pay back.
No, I mean we had people on our course, they give it a year and actually it wasn't for them, but they then knew that it was either that particular job that they didn't like, or it was actually they just didn't want to go into higher education again. They'd completely finished with the study and
because you said they were older, didn't you?
So it certainly gives you the opportunity to try something without actually having to commit to it, especially with the financial commitments of full-time uni.
Because it's a lot.
From what I'm still paying
friends. But I think as well, just on that, from say if it was the job side that they didn't enjoy but they did want to carry on the apprenticeship, you can find another employer. You can carry that apprenticeship over and transfer it.
Really good,
so that I feel like it's good to keep in mind in case it wasn't right for you, but there's plenty of other employers.
So you don't have
there
to stick it out for the 4 years if you're not enjoying it at that particular company. Okay, right. Interesting. So did many people on your course do that?
Not that I actually know of.
Not many. I think there's one or two. But overall, I think we all I mean, some people were already previously employed by their employer, where me and Bex obviously joined the company to do the apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Others in the course were actually previously employed. They'd been with the company for years and then just fancied doing an extra qualification. But yeah, I think there was one or two where it just didn't quite work out for them. And yeah, they've gone on to pastures new. But yeah, we were very lucky that we were able to see it through to the end of the same company. And yeah, we're still here now.
Yeah.
So it must have been a journey then. And was this year graduation year?
It was.
Yeah, we had our graduation same as a normal graduation.
Yeah.
We were mixed in with all of the sort of full-time students, if you like.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was down in Cambridge. Really, really nice. Had the ball gowns on and
Yeah.
everything, and
Got
the hats.
to chuck the caps.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, fantastic.
And I guess as well, on top of our apprenticeship, so we also did an extra part of it for the apprenticeship, which is the CMI, the Chartered Management Institute. So we are now qualified chartered managers as well.
Nice.
And so with that, we had to build a portfolio of all the work we did within our jobs and within the education and degree part, and then do a presentation on that. And a part of our degree was to do a work-based project, so we had to then do an interview based on that as well. So there is like extra additional things on top of just the degree, which is quite nice as well if you did want to really push yourself to that next level.
Projects, okay, that sounds really exciting. So did you get to pick your own, and how did you decide what to pick?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were able to pick our own. The idea of the project was that it was directly linked to the workplace. But other than that, we had pretty much free reign of what it was about, as long as it had some sort of benefit to the company.
Yeah.
So I was interested in the benefits packages, both sort of internally and externally with the clients that we work with. So I basically did a bit of an online questionnaire to find out what benefits our employees like, what they value, what they don't actually value as much as we maybe think they do.
Like the cycle to work scheme.
Yeah, it's the kind of things like that, just putting things into a bit of perspective of saying these are the benefits that our staff actually love. Let's make sure they're here to stay. And to see if there is anything that we could potentially lose, but then also find out what they would like to be added to the benefits package. So yeah, in the end, we found out about the flexible working was obviously very was very valued. The commission scheme, the bonuses, the trips away, things like that. And then there was also some interesting things about what people wanted added to the benefits package. They included things like the dental cover, a better private healthcare system. Some people went a little bit wild and were sort of saying about having slides in the office and things like that, which were a little bit out there. But yeah, on the whole, it was really interesting to see which benefits people really wanted to stay within the business, but then also added. So then I was able to present that back. As a result, we have made changes. We have changed our benefits, our healthcare provider, and yeah, we've brought in a couple of other little things, and then talks are ongoing about some other benefits.
Nice.
Yeah. So mine was obviously down the marketing route. So I wanted to focus more on our personal branding for our recruitment consultants. It's a big thing within the recruitment industry right now. It's about how we always say, consultants, their desk that they own is their own business. So how can they keep building on that, getting more further ahead than their competitors? So in the end, I implemented a course to implement them on personal branding, kind of get to know what it is and how to go about it. And then through that, I was able to track and work closely with everyone on their LinkedIns, help boost their brands, which in return for some of them, it did work. They had to put the work in, but they did see a return. More people were trying to message them. They were like, oh yeah, you're the person I've seen on LinkedIn. And when they were going out on networking and things like that. So it's just to help them become more recognised within their sector of what they're recruiting. And yeah, just help have a bigger return on investment.
Nice. So with these projects in the 4 years then, what skills do you think you've learned over that whole time?
Lots.
Yeah, it really was though. Like I feel like our apprenticeship, the degree side, really did give us a nice mixture of anything business management. So like Andy said earlier about learning more about the finance part of it, or like we did the HR part of it, the marketing side of it, the people side. So there is lots of it. And like the people skills, kind of managing people, for further future careers. It really does just give you a big variety of skills, especially for the degree we chose. So yeah, but again, you could make that as wide of a variety or as focused of a variety, depending on what it is you're wanting from the apprenticeship and the apprentice as an employer. What skills do you want them to learn?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Our course was a fairly broad course, so we learned a little bit about a variety of different areas in all regards to business. But if you were to focus on a set, say, finance apprenticeship, then their degree is obviously going to be more finance related.
Yeah.
So it can vary depending on the needs of the business, of what they're actually wanting to get out of this person. Then depends on what route the apprentice goes down and what skills they then gain. So it can be tailored regarding, sort of dependent on company needs.
So what have you most enjoyed then about the whole apprenticeship and experience?
For me, I think it's got to be sort of the work side of things. Like I said, I didn't know what recruitment was at the start. I didn't know what I was getting myself in for. But actually, I've really, really enjoyed it. I've been able to do well here, which has been really good. And yeah, I've worked with some fantastic companies, fantastic candidates, and yeah, when you are able to put two and two together, then it is a great feeling.
Yeah, and likewise for me, obviously I had like a bit of a journey at the One Group, started off in recruitment, but found myself in marketing again, finding that career I loved. It wasn't quite right at the beginning, but obviously found my way. And obviously as an employer, they were able to give me that opportunity, got my degree alongside, 4 or 5 years ago. I was like, I'm not going to uni, I won't get a degree, but here I am 4 years after studying. But it just, it feels really rewarding, I think, as well, because you have got that commercial side of it alongside the education side. I think we feel like ahead of the game. Obviously you've earned salary, future things obviously accommodates that, no debts, and I think it's just a case now of like what's next. And I think it's just really exciting, and yeah, I just think it's a really great thing and everyone should do it.
You heard it here, guys.
Screw uni.
So one last question for me then before we go into the last task of the day, and that is, what advice would you give them when thinking about doing a degree apprenticeship?
I definitely think it's worth considering. 100%. Like we sort of said, we were both, by college, we were both pushed down the university route, which you don't have to do. If you do think there's other opportunities there, or that there certainly is other opportunities there, that should certainly be considered. And yeah, we've both gained a lot from our apprenticeships. And yeah, like I say, a lot of my friends now who did go to university wish they did what we did, because yeah, we've been able to earn a salary, we've got the commercial experience, which is so valuable, as well as the exact same sort of degree on that piece of paper at the end of it. They're going to have to pay debt for the rest of their not life, but for a lot of years to come. Whereas we're completely debt free, which is a nice position to be in.
I think one piece of advice I would say is, if you're looking for the uni life, don't do it, because obviously you don't get that aspect of it, and also although you get that 20% of the jobs, that 1 day a week to do your study, it does eat into a lot of your personal life.
Okay.
It's hard work. It's a lot of work. So you've got to be committed to it. But if you can do that, then you'll absolutely fly through it and smash it. And yeah, just if you're looking for something a bit more exciting than just going to uni and want to get into work, then it's the perfect opportunity for you to go to.
Well, you've definitely made it sound very appealing.
Yes.
Something that maybe I should have done, perhaps. I don't know if it was available back then.
That's what I mean. It's still quite fresh, I think, just to everyone.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us
Pleasure.
today. It's been really, really interesting learning all about your journey, and congratulations, both of you.
Thank you.
And thank you all. If you'd like to subscribe to TOGCast so you never miss an episode, please do. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap for this week's episode. If you want to be our next guest speaker on TOGCast, then get in touch with the One Group, and don't forget to subscribe. We would hate for you to miss the next one.